camera. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I was talking to you, but I didn't realize you guys couldn't see me. But yeah, okay. I was telling you a bit of what we were doing on our previous class and how we were working with understanding the light and the shadow of this animal. So what we were doing on the past class, I'm gonna go right ahead and continue elaborating that. So yeah, just give me a second. Yeah, so I was just telling you that I'm gonna show you the stage in which we should be right now. I know that maybe some of you wanna skip steps, and I understand because when we're doing an illustration, when we're drawing, we tend to wanna see a final result. And what's gonna give us a feeling that we have something finalized is gonna be the details, it's gonna be the texture, it's gonna be, yeah, that light that the eye has. All these things we're gonna wanna do at this point. And I'm just here to tell you, don't. We can slow down a bit and we can just go from the general to the specific. So that's where I want you to be right now. I don't want you to rush. I want you to take this easy and to enjoy the process. Maybe at one point we're feeling that it's taking us a while, but just as long as we keep working and working on it, then you're gonna realize where it's going. You're gonna realize that it's gonna be making more sense. So I wanna show you the one I'm doing with my lizard. And yeah, so my lizard, I think it could be a bit of a challenge because of the what I told you in previous classes, that this species has physical differences between male and female. Then I went for both and I decided to illustrate both of these animals. And then yeah, it's like I finish on one and then I have to jump to the other one, and so on and so on. And maybe you're working only with one individual in your layout, and maybe that is gonna speed up the process. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna be showing you what I have, and we're gonna keep working a bit of what we were doing on the last class, since our class cut in the middle and we were not able to finalize it. So I wanna show you how we should finalize it, and then on the next class we're gonna finally start on the details and on the textures and all the things that are gonna make our illustration feel done. Alright, so I'm gonna be showing you what I'm drawing, and where is the same dynamic as last class. I'm gonna be showing some of the specimens that I have on my library as a reference, and then we use that to keep elaborating this one. So this is it. This is our beautiful lizard. So we have both of them, no? This is the paper that I use so that I don't mess up my paper. So yeah, I guess last class I was showing you, because the one that we were elaborating was this one, and this one had the first layer of shadows, but we haven't really worked on it a lot. So I'm gonna work a bit more on this one and then work on this one, and yes, I'll show you that. And I wanna use one of these images Yes, this, I think this one is alright. And maybe I've told you like yeah, we're not still not working on the details and things like that. But if you take a look at it, you can see that if we look at the face, we're already having a fair amount of details. It's not like we have nothing. It's already a pretty strong base that is gonna allow us to better understand where the placement of everything else is. Okay, I'm sorry. Give me a second. We have a bit of a strong zoom in here. Let's see. Okay. Yes, I keep telling you that maybe one day we're not gonna have any technical issues, but yeah. Maybe not today either. But yeah, okay, we're here. Let me just move this so we can take a look of it. Yes, perfect. Mm. So what we're doing right now is just going darker with all the details that we want to have. Just going darker on the contrast, and also understanding that the amount of white that we're gonna have on our illustration is very minimal. So then I'm just trying to apply a little graphite on all of our illustration. Okay, I should not forget to use this one. This is just to protect our paper. And remembering always the shape of the individual that we're drawing is gonna help us to work better on our shading. Like with the exercise that we saw of the sphere, this is gonna help a lot, so we understand what's happening. And you can see that it's just really just tiny details that are gonna already help a lot in the interpretation of the illustration. And I bet that these are details that maybe are not super visible on our camera. But what I really want you to work on is just on these transitions, that we're not gonna make them too hard. And with too hard, I mean that we're not gonna see like a line that goes from one structure to another. Just try to make it smooth. And also try not to be too intimidated to work on your contrast. And then you're gonna see how slowly we're getting to the point where we wanna be at. So yeah, let me show you. So from here we can, of course, with all the things that we place that are mainly like the light and the shadow, then we understand the volume, we understand the shape, we understand the placement. And then we can go ahead and work with our other one. So I'm gonna grab another one of our references that we were working mainly on previous classes. And if you see like main difference between the one we were doing and the one we're gonna be working on right now, in case you're wondering like, oh, maybe it looks pretty similar, or well, if you see main difference, okay, I do see a difference. I don't know if you see it. I see a bigger contrast on this one for sure, and I see a bigger detail. I see that the lines that I use on this one are maybe not that refined. Maybe I didn't connect it that perfectly one structure to the other. And yeah, so now we're gonna be working on this one. Let me just wanna grab one of these that we know is already pretty similar to that. That's the one we also use as a reference. Yeah, perfect. This one. Alright, this one. Mm. And we're gonna be working based on that one, okay? And we're doing the same thing, like same things we did on this one, we're gonna do on this one. Let me just do a bit of a zoom in, then we can go from there. Perfect. Let me maybe do this one bigger for you. Well, I don't know, I believe something like this works. Perfect. And then we start working on it. Just remember that when we wanna put all these elements together, and by these elements I'm just meaning like our different parts of shading, we can use a very hard pencil. I'm gonna do 4H right now, and I'm gonna be working with that one. Right? I'm using the technique of going in circles. So we have to remember, based on our image that we had, this part was on the light, and the dollop was kind of on the shadow, and this part of the body was also on the shadow, and this one. So it goes like darker here, and a little bit lighter there, and to the other side. I think going from this first layer to the second layer is very, what would be the word? Very rewarding, maybe. Or like, it's just because we really see the difference. Like when the one we were working on with this one, I see a huge difference. And then that's the point where we say like, okay, this is getting somewhere. You just have to keep working on it. And that's the thing of being patient with the layers. And this is also the part that I tell you that the amount of white that we're gonna have in an illustration is very minimum. Because maybe when I was doing my light study, I decided like no, like all this part is gonna be on the light, and then when I actually start to elaborate, I'm like, okay, no, that could be a gradient, no, that could be like getting to the white, but not actually the white. And I can also see on my traces that I did it a bit fast. But you see how going over them is gonna blend that. And like you can definitely see still my traces that on let's say on the other one that we were working with, you cannot see that much. And this is basically the whole process, like of this part of this layer. Just blend that. Okay, I think at this point, I can definitely feel my traces on this part that I did it a bit rush, and that's why it needs so much blending on top of it. But you see how very fast we're already seeing a better transition of it. Okay, I wanna just jump into the face real quick, because I know that if we stay on the same place, it could be kind of hard to see. Could be kind of hard to see how much we're doing. So just like the one we did before, gonna go ahead and work on the contrast of the face. Also work on the contrast and placing better the details of the face, okay? And yeah, I have my reference image. And we're gonna use this one to work on, okay? And like things like this, like I know that this part of the face is catching a lot of light, but if we leave it just white, then that's not necessarily what we want. Or like it's not necessarily what is happening. Let me show you why. Okay, if you just look at the reference image that we have, okay, we have to think, of course, that this reference image is not having the exact lighting that we want. Like lighting is actually coming from the opposite way, it's coming from the right side, and the one we're drawing is coming from the left. But even when this image could be maybe very light, still gonna have some graphite on it. Okay. So first I'm gonna work if you see with our reference image, maybe we don't have a lot of, or maybe we don't have all of the structures super clear, and then we just have to reconstruct them. Like if I think of the, because I know, because I've been seeing this species a lot, I know that is having a structure that's coming here out of the eye. And then this part is just gonna be also like in a transition, like starts dark and goes lighter. But I can also recreate those things because I already know a bit how this works. And then I have the one on top that if I look at my reference, maybe it goes. Yeah, I think the eye is very prominent here, like here, and then when we have this on the back, we lose it a bit. I want to make it more prominent, something like that. And what I'm thinking right now is, because in this point it also helps, like I know you already use the sculptures that you did, maybe you can just go back to it. So we can go back to it to see what was happening, you know? Okay, no, it's very cute when we put it right next to it. But yeah, it helps me understand. Because I was wondering why is the dual lobe so dark in comparison to the rest of the body. But I understand that maybe it's catching a little bit of light. Not a lot, but I think maybe on this part we can put a little bit of light. But yeah, the rest is gonna be on the dark because if we have our light coming from this way, and then this part of the head is more prominent, then it's gonna be the one catching the light. And then that already makes more sense to me. I was just wondering about that. Okay, sometimes I leave tiny piece of eraser on my paper and that is gonna give me darkness that I don't want. Like here as well. Just feel free to erase those and just be careful with them, you know. Think also when I look at this one and when I'm just like going over the shape of the head, then it makes me feel that I can correct it a bit. Just some tiny angles that I'm not super happy with. Okay, now I'm feeling that this was maybe too long. That makes more sense like this. Yeah, so I'm gonna work with that. And I feel we would have a stronger shadow here. That's the prominence of the head also casting some shadow in the back. And on the edge of the shadow you can always play with the shape. Not do like a straight line, but they just take it with the shape. And when you have a structure, just try to blend in the color of the outline with the volume of the inside. Like I have here the separation of the arm with the rest of the body. Then I want to show like, okay, that's not just a line, it's actually showing the volume that I have in here. You see, something like that. And then we can do that with all of our structures. And this is pretty much the exercise. Just work on your transitions, try to plan them, try to have all these structures coming together smoothly. I'm sorry for the instability of my camera today. But yeah, this is pretty much what we want. Just slowly get there. Let me just step back and show you both of them. This is kind of what we want. Let me. Something like this. Okay, now I didn't finish this, but I want to show you something else. But I just want your illustrations to look something like that right now. We have no texture, we have no details. The only things we have are the lights and the shadow of the animal. And that's it. That's where you should be at right now. And I want to show you something. Let me see. Yes, I'm back here. I want to show you something that one of you sent. It was one of the homeworks they were doing. And I think it's very nice. Okay. Yes, hey. So what I wanted to show you is one of the homeworks that someone sent. And I think it's pretty nice. They did the model. They're doing as a snake. They did this model that I think is pretty good, and the lighting that they're using on it is amazing because it's exactly what we want, dramatic lighting. And then they're showing me how it went from there. Then they have this, that this I can see that is the lighting study. And then they send this one, which for me looks pretty finished, no? I don't know, what do you think? But yeah, I want to show you something. And to do this, I just need to do kind of a transition here. Okay, let me see. Because I just really want to show you. And I just really want to make some comments on this one. So since I don't have the illustration with me, I'm gonna try to share my screen so you're gonna see the program where I'm transmitting. But do I think that's okay? Okay, just give me a second. Alright, we're here. This is the illustration that this person sent. And okay, no, what I want to say first of all is that it's really good. And I do believe that maybe this person just skipped some steps. Why is that? Because yeah, I was telling you that at this point what I wanted, but was only the light and the shadow. And I feel that in this one maybe we also lost a bit of the shadow in here. So let me see if we can do something about it. Mm. I'm using this program by Adobe. It's a free program. It's called Fresco, Adobe Fresco, and I use it sometimes. I think it's pretty nice. You can give it a try if you want. I'm just gonna create another layer, and from that layer I'm gonna show you what I feel that could have been done. Just on this layer. Okay. I'm still not really great at this. So I just wanna grab similar color, maybe a bit darker even. Because I think that's what could have been interesting. Yes, right. So they did a really good light study, and then we had some parts that we could see were already darker. And this is only with the 1 day sun. So yeah, I think before jumping into all the details, don't get me wrong, I love the details. I think they are really amazing. Like I can see that it took really like a great amount of time to do this. So I'm here on the face, and I see that on this side we have a super strong. And these are kind of like the steps that I don't want you to skip, because now this is an amazing illustration. I can see the shading, of course I can see it. I can see that you leave a light in the middle of it, but we could have made it more dramatic. So just to indicate this way more. There's also kind of a shadow here that is indicating the shape of the head and that the head is going down. So actually I believe that the whole head is kind of following in this shadow. Yeah, something like this. And then we have this one here. That kind of ends here. And then we have the one inside. Starts around here. And it goes all the way here, just a bit more subtle. In here I think could have been like and on the front also is having that shadow. Then on this part, so I do like to do a lot of things on paper, but I appreciate digital techniques as well. Mainly because I can show you things very, very fast. Okay, I also have a shadow kinda here. And this is interesting because it's a snake nose, so we know it works like a cylinder. So like all the parts that are going on the sides are gonna be a bit darker. Maybe we don't have that here, but if you see here, the face of the snake is coming up. So all this part is above the rest of the body. So this is not actually touching the ground. So I think leaving this light was a great decision. Okay, let's also here there's a lot of light. And on this part, and in here, okay, let me just move that in a bit. So yeah, we have a light coming from here now. Like this is the sun. So all these parts that's gonna be on this side are gonna be catching more light, and on the other side is gonna be more on the shadow. And in here, I think you could have gone way darker here. Like in here, we have to think of the which this person definitely did. Was thinking of the shape that's gonna guide the shadow. Just think could have been darker. And yeah, basically in all the tail, right side is big darker. Okay. I think this would be the first layer that we were doing, like the first shading layer that we had. And then from there, you can still go darker. Like, let me just show you. This is without. And this is with. Do you see the difference? Why do we want this for? We want to give it more volume. This was a great exercise, but if we take it darker, then we're gonna see the volume better. You see? And I think maybe I over shade here. Let's fix that a bit. Okay, this eraser is very strong. Smooth it a bit. Okay, something like that. And then so from there I think we can go a bit darker. So yes, it's darker. Just wanna make sure. That's also the amazing thing about working with digital, no? That we can do stuff like a lot of mistakes and then we just trace over it. I also just wanna, you see this? I know that it's a sketch, but this was supposed to be done on already our final paper. So we don't want really strong traces like this. We want to be soft about this. What's the good thing about working on digital that I can just cover it? And later you're gonna find that you can also work maybe mixing both of digital and traditional. But it's just gonna be easier to jump to digital if you already understand how traditional works. Okay, so we are darker dark. So let's do this again. So working with this, and I wanna work harder, like darker. And I think things like the places where we can really see that the snake is touching the ground, like here. Well, I can even go darker, I think, to do these details. So yeah, from here. Okay, maybe I wanna have a thicker point. Yes, that's not. Let me see if we can smooth that out. Maybe I do want it bigger, and we can smooth it. When you're working with a tablet, is harder to control these movements. Okay, so also places like this, like the snake is touching its body. Places like here. Again, is touching the ground. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm just gonna leave it like that. I thought I was on a different layer. What a classic. Wrong layer. And just here, up here. Let me just move this. But yeah, if you've been thinking for a while, like, hey, should I get a tablet to work on my digital art? You can try this program because it's the only Adobe program that is for free. It gives you a lot of possibilities. So yeah, light is from this side, and then we have the shadow here. And also maybe this is gonna be a bit darker, but not all of it. Now I am on a different layer, so okay, I erased it all. Also not what I wanted to do, but apparently my eraser is crazy huge. Let's see. Yes. And then on this side is also almost on all of it. Like here. Yes, something like this. And then from this, like if we're talking about shadow, oh, we can do a lot. We didn't really think about our core shadow and our reflection lights. So if we just take this one darker, like then we can do exactly that. Like we have here. Yeah, one that maybe a bit bigger and less smoothing. Yeah, something like this. We also have that, and maybe we even have it more coming to the head. We have this. Yeah, kind of like that. That you see the reflection light. And what's happening here. So like right away, because of the cast shadow of the head of the snake, let me just do this smaller so we have better control of it. Okay, too small. Hmm. And this is just me trying to make my core shadows more obvious and giving space, of course, for the reflection light. So here and here also, but a bit less. And if you can see, I'm only using one pencil and it is still allowing me a lot of blending with it. You see that? So I'm gonna leave this as it is and then work on this one. Go around here. And I think we have to make this more obvious. And we can do this. I think it can help if we really show this. Okay, I forgot the smoothing part. Like this. So we separate this structure and then we're gonna darken the one beneath. And maybe a little bit at the end of the tail. Like this. Okay, got excited. Wait. I think I should just do No, it's still too narrow. I want to make it thicker. Yeah, maybe something like this. Alright. Gonna erase the sun. Just because I know you know where it's coming from. We don't need it for now. I think deciding to go for a snake in an exercise like that is a very smart idea. Because you know that it's placed on a flat surface, or like the one that we're seeing right now. We can tell that it's just on a flat surface. So what can we do here? We can go ahead and do the cast shadow. That's also something we can work on. And according to the reference image that we have of the lights and shadows, then I'm gonna just do a new layer. Okay, just wanna show you real quick. This is without the layers. And this is with the layers. That's what I want you to understand. That's why it's so important to go first on the study of the volume and the lights and the shadow. This is just gonna place it like in the space. And again, I think this exercise is amazing. Like the person who did this exercise, I think is very impressive. But I think if we just work a bit on it before start doing the details, then we can have something really nice. You see this? Okay, so I just wanna, last one, work on the cast shadow. And then we can talk a bit about the details. I'm gonna do the cast shadow a bit more toward blue. This is a bit more cold. And it's just because usually when you're drawing something, the shadow that goes inside of the animal is warmer, so it's closer to the rats. That's what we were doing. We had a very orange shadows, and then the cast shadow goes more to the cold sides. We're gonna see this also when we see color, but yeah, I'm gonna do this right now. So we can just go ahead and start Okay, yeah, maybe sometimes moving around on this program is not the easier. Maybe I just need to get used to this. So there's a shadow here. It's very strong. Okay, I need to put this kind of on top of them because I have things on the layers underneath. Yes. I still want to erase it and maybe do this thicker. Yes, like this. And I have the eraser on. Perfect. In here where the face is going down, then we have a really strong cast shadow. It's almost where we have our strong lines, where we have the cast shadow, because those are the places where it's closer to the ground. And then we go here to this one. And yeah, the reference is interesting there. We have the one up here. Okay, I think I'm gonna erase some of the things when I finish this, but I just wanna make it darker where it's closer to. And then also here. Now let's see our eraser. Okay, I know this doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, let me see if we can do something about it with this. Like if I move it down here. No, not much of a change. Okay, now I'm just gonna erase these things. Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna leave this like this. And this is what I think should have been done before working on the details. So yeah, we go from this one to this one. Let me see. No, I really love the details. I can really see that this person really studied the shape of the scale, because that's not super easy. Okay, we can kind of blend these two, so we still have our details, because I know that, yeah, we cover all of these parts. But if we do this, then you can still see the details a bit. You just want to look for one that I like how it looks. Yeah, no, it has a lot of options. Like, look, this one made our shadow way lighter and looks super nice, I think. This is gonna saturate it. Okay, I don't know what that one did. Here we have like kind of negatives. Okay, a lot of possibilities with this. app. I think I'm gonna go for a multiply, or maybe just the darken, and just, okay, no, let's go for the multiply one. Okay, so in that way we want preface from the one that we had that could look maybe a little bit flat to the one that we have now. And this was just working on the inner shadows of the animal, working on the cast shadow. And that's it. I know you already did all the details of the scale, and this is also a way to show you that even though you did details, you can work on the shadow on top and you're not gonna lose them. And you can also realize that if you would have done the shadow first, the shadow of the body before doing the details, then when you were doing the details, maybe you didn't have to do all of them. Because on parts like this, you don't need them really because it's so dark that it's not that necessary to do the details there, you know? I do want to congratulate you for the time and the effort that you're putting into these exercises because this just looks amazing, like all the details of the scales. Because if you see, I don't know if you all are noticing this, but usually when you're gonna do these scales of an animal, you're gonna do something like this. I know when you draw fish, you usually do this. Okay, maybe this is too thin. You usually do something like this. Then from here I have one. Here I have the other. And that's it. Like people kind of go very simple with it because there's a lot of animals that have this structure of scales. Like if you see a fish, it's most likely that the fish is gonna have this type of scales. But when you're looking at the scales that you have here, well, it has 6 sides. This is just a really nice exercise. Then the line goes out of the middle like something like this. Okay, then I guess I can do one here as well. Then from here, then you close it. Okay, I'm not that great doing this, but whoa. Understanding this must have taken a lot of time. See? See the difference and see how, yeah, this probably took a lot of time. And it's very nice because when we zoom in, we see the shape of the, you see this? That also allow us to understand how the shape of the snake is going. No, very remarkable exercise. But yeah, those are my comments to you. Work on your shading. Just work on the contrast. Just give it a little bit more contrast. What I was telling you before, don't be afraid to do it too dark. Because when you have more contrast, then you're gonna have more sense of volume, and that's what we want right now. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your exercise with us and to give me the opportunity to make comments on your exercise. It was I think, very useful for everyone that's watching this class, and also for me to explain the activities that we've been doing on the class. So yeah, again, thank you so much for that. I'm gonna go back to this. Okay. Yes. I was trying to make that faster, but couldn't. Alright, this was our class of today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you for staying here and taking a look of all the comments that I had on this homework that they sent us today. It is very good and is a great exercise that we can keep doing, just correcting and giving feedback on your activities. So this is also an invitation for you all to send your homeworks so we can keep doing these sessions. This is the session of Saturday is always going to be questions and answers. And yeah, next class we're going to keep working on our illustration. I'm going to tell you how to elaborate it further, like how to work on the details. Like this person did right here, that they went with all the scales. We're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be working with the texture, and yeah, that's gonna give us. Next class is our final class. Next week is our final class. So we have those 4 hours, 2 hours on Tuesday, 2 hours on Thursday, that we're gonna keep on elaborating and elaborating. So we're almost there. I'm pretty sure that you can see it as well with the exercise that you're doing, that you're pretty close to it. You're pretty close to having an image that's finalized. So, yeah, that'll be all for today. Again, thank you so much for joining, and I hope I see you all next class. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.